The Damned, a good damn feature debut. If you haven't already, get and hit the subscribe button to never miss a video. We have weekly film content, including movie reviews, movie essays, and so much more. So again, hit that subscribe button to never miss a video. Roberto Minervini makes his directorial feature debut with The Damned, a Civil War drama that is captured in such a way the film feels more like a documentary than narrative film, leaning heavily into his background and expertise in documentary filmmaking. He's able to tell a story otherwise impossible from the brilliant vantage point of a third-party spectator. His vision is clear from the opening sequence, even if it feels unclear and out of place at first. Letting the camera bear witness to two wolves eating a dead deer. No attack, no hunt, just the image of two wolves eating. A wide shot that after what feels like a few minutes, in reality probably only a minute at most, the camera cuts to a close-up, allowing the viewer to see the wolves in its natural habitat, as the other wolves come to join them. First, I saw it as odd and not at all relevant to the story of men at war. Although, as the film continued, I realized that the wolves' representation was something philosophical rather than just an actual representation of animals in their natural environment. The opening tells us everything that we need to know about the film before it truly begins. A bold, brave move to a war film with a shot of animals eating their dinner, completely irrelevant to the story or what they're talking about, to watch something that would turn most viewers off almost instantly, keeping only those who have patience to prevail while also letting the viewer in on the film's biggest secret that has yet to be known. While this is a narrative film, it plays out as a documentary that captivates and not only the Civil War, but the war itself, in such a way that it feels more real than almost any war film in recent memory. For he didn't make a war film, he creates a character-driven drama with the backdrop of war, allowing us to simply tag along as a third-party viewer. Most notably seen in Richard Linklater's Slacker, the camera isn't the narrator, it merely follows our narrators, watching and observing their actions and conversations, like the wolves in the opening shot. We were never meant to know what happened, how it happened, but simply to see it happen before our eyes, to simply observe them without context. An approach that I think is very risky, one that can come off as pretentious and dangerous, so to speak, for filmmakers making their directorial debuts. However, in this case, he swings for the fences and creates something that is truly one of a kind, which I think having such a rich background in documentary filmmaking really strengthened his ability to do so. For knowing that this was his first fictional feature and his previous work was all documentaries, going in, I wasn't sure exactly what to expect. However, I would have never guessed to see such a fantastic film with such great cinematography, not only crisp and beautiful shots, but ones that captivate and not just capture the story being told before our eyes. Afonso work on the film is truly remarkable, from the crispness and well-balanced shots to the use of shallow depth of field technique. A technique that not only stands out, but really enhances the depth and experience of the film. While the most brilliant and memorable thing about his use of method is the lack of it, using it only a handful of times at the right moments, carefully crafting the shots into the film sparingly to enhance its appeal and meaning. Having that restraint and artistic vision to be able to use such a powerful but subtle framing shot as sparingly and with intent as he did is truly remarkable, showing us that the film in which they set out to make is clearly one of the driven story aspect, and they weren't allowing visual representation to triumph over the characters and the tone of the film. When referring to the story and thinking of the script in terms of a film, the fact that he also penned the script comes to mind, for it's without question a huge part of what makes the film so compelling. There is no traditional narrative. We are not merely watching this, men in their day as lives of soldiers. The dialogue is simple and really drives the film. The interchange between characters isn't what moves the story forward or makes us believe in something. It simply is just men at work talking, conversing naturally. There is no intense dialogue talking about what they're supposed to do or how they're going to do it. They talk to each other as you would your new coworker, for almost none of them knew each other, with the exception of a few men. What really makes the script work so well is its natural and timeless dialogue. There's referencing or terms in which, bound by its era or genre, it simply is once again a fantastic tribute to its storytelling. The action is scarce but impactful, For a film that is set during the Civil War and is about soldiers on a mission, there's far less action and gunplay than one might expect. However, falling perfectly in line with the majority of the film, less is more. When the first bullet is shot, you can feel it, not being of the overbearing or excessive sound mixing, but because of the intensity and lack thereof in the time before that first gunshot. The film manages to capture what I can only imagine to be what war really feels like. Mostly downtime and a whole lot of nothing with bursts of intense and life-threatening moments, which feels incredibly intense, powerful, and breathtaking. The shots are so well placed in such a way that visually appealing, yet uncinematic, in a way I can only describe as the most artistic and authentic light, reassuring and that documentary feel that the film has up to this point, edited together so seamlessly that you forget momentarily that it's a narrative film. By the time the credits roll and the film comes to an end, a film that has no traditional narrative ends much unlike a documentary, but only how a character-driven narrative could, in such a way that you are left with more questions than answers, but fulfilled with insight and a new perspective. Have you saw the 2024 film The Damned? What are your thoughts? Comment below. Let me know.